Hello everyone. In this session we are going to learn some basic topics of basic mechanics, okay? And we will be starting with beams and cantilever. So these are the very important elements, right? Beam and cantilever are very important elements in architecture and industries. And the properties of materials provide load bearing strength to this beams or cantilevers or girders, we can say, right? So that they can support very heavy loads, right? Basically they are used to support very heavy loads, okay? So how does a beam is defined, right? Let us see how a beam is defined. So a beam or a girder is basically a rod of uniform cross section having a very large length as compared to its breadth and width, right? Again I am repeating, a beam or a girder is a rod with cross section, uniform cross section having a very large length as compared to its breadth and width, right? This is the reason that shear stress over any section of the beams is negligible, okay? Shear stress is negligible over any section of the beam. Right? Now these beams are designed to support heavy loads, so they are normally positioned horizontally. Okay, they are positioned horizontally. They are used to support roofs or buildings, okay, or load of vehicles, right, passing over bridges, etc. Okay, so these are the various purposes of using a beam, right? They are used that so that they can be used to support roofs of buildings, right? Or they are also used to support heavy loads of vehicles that are passing over bridges. So if you consider a uniform beam that is being clamped at one end and is loaded on the other end, then it is known as a cantilever. A beam that is being clamped at the rigid support, right, at the one end, and which is free on the other end, right, which is free at the other end, right, which is not connected, supported on the other end, then it is known as a cantilever. Okay, cantilever. Now the cantilever gets depressed, okay, when a long beam is clamped horizontally at one end to a rigid support and a load is placed at the other end, right, of it, right. So by knowing the dimensions of the beam and the load applied, we can have the knowledge of pressure that is being produced in the cantilever, right. So suppose a cantilever, a beam is there which is connected to the rigid support at one end and which is free on the other end, right. So what happens, right, if the load is applied on the free end, then the cantilever will be bent, right. It will bend, right, in such a way that depression is produced or deflection is produced. So suppose you want to have the knowledge of this deflection or depression, right. So you can have the measurement of this depression. You can calculate this depression produced in the cantilever by knowing the dimensions of the beam and the load applied, right. So this is beam or cantilever, right. Why is beam used? They are used to support heavy loads, basically, right. They are used to support roofs, right, of buildings and heavy loads of vehicle passing over bridges. Okay, they are normally positioned horizontally, right, and their length is very much larger as compared to its breadth and width, right. So shear stress over any section of the beam is negligible. Okay, so this is all about beams, introduction of beam and cantilever. What does a cantilever mean? Cantilever is a uniform beam clamped at one end, right, connected, supported at one end with a rigid support and which is free at the other end. And if it is loaded at the free end, then it will bend out and which will produce depression in the cantilever. And in order to find the depression produced in the cantilever, you should have the knowledge of the dimensions of the beam and the load applied, right. Now let us consider there are some assumptions that are inherent in obtaining the expression for depressions of cantilevers loaded at the free end. Okay, cantilevers loaded at the free end. There are some assumptions that are very important, right? That are inherent in obtaining the expression of for cantilevers. Okay, so the first assumption is the elastic limit is not exceeded. Right here, this is a very important. This is a very vital assumption that the elastic limit is not exceeded, right? It is supposed that you are working under factor of safety conditions, you are working under the working stress is maintained optimally, right? And the elastic limit is not exceeded, right? You are working within the elastic limit. Okay, so this assumption is very much important, otherwise it is not possible to equate an external bending couple, right, with the internal bending couple. Okay, so to understand, to get the expression of bending couple, right, specifically external bending couple with the internal bending moment, right, then you should consider this assumption that the elastic limit is not exceeded. Okay, then the second assumption is in comparison to the load, the weight of the beam is negligible. Okay, this is also very important that we are considering that the in comparison to the load applied to the beam, right, or the cantilever, the weight of the beam is negligible. Okay, the weight of the beam is negligible. Okay, then next is shear stress over any cross section is zero. Right, we are considering that we are using a beam whose length is very much larger as compared to its breadth and width. Right, as a result, shear stress over any cross section of the cantilever is zero. Okay, then the material of the beam have same Young's modulus in tension as well as in compression. Right, whether you are working in tension, under tension or under compression, right, the material will have same Young's modulus. Okay, same elastic constant. Okay, okay. So next assumption is due to uniform cross section which does not change because of loading, the geometrical moment of inertia of the beam remains constant. Right, the next assumption is the geometrical moment of inertia of the cantilever is constant, right, due to uniform cross section which does not change because of loading. Okay, right, due to loading the cross section, uniform cross section is maintained. Right, this is the result that geometrical moment of inertia remains constant. Okay. Okay, then the radius of curvature of the neutral surface of the bent beam is large compared to its thickness. The last assumption is the radius of curvature of the neutral surface. What does the neutral surface mean? That I will explain in the next slide. Okay, so the radius of curvature of the neutral surface of the bent beam is large compared to its thickness. So these are the very much important, right, 6 assumptions that you have to consider in order to find the expression for cantilevers. Okay, the elastic limit is not exceeded. In comparison to load, weight of the beam is negligible. Shear stress over any cross section is zero. Material of the beam has same Young's modulus under tension or compression. The geometrical moment of inertia of the beam remains constant, and the radius of curvature of the neutral surface of the bent beam is large compared to its thickness. So these are basic assumptions. Okay, now let us understand bending of beams, right? Bending of beams. So let us take a beam of regular cross section, rectangular cross section. Now we may consider the beam as made up of number of thin plane layers. Okay, let us consider a rectangular beam, right, which is having a number of thin layers. Okay, which is having a number of thin layers, as you can see in figure A. Also, each layer may be considered as made up of a number of parallel longitudinal filaments or fibers as depicted in figure B. In figure B, it is shown that each layer is again made up of a number of filaments, right? So we are considering here a rectangular cross section uniform beam which is made up of a number of thin layers, and again these layers are made up of filaments, a number of filaments, okay, or fibers. Okay, so figure A and figure B, it is shown how the filaments and layers should be there. Okay, now let the beam be clamped horizontally at the end A and loaded by weight B at the other end B. So as you can see in the another figure, a bent beam is shown, right? Let us consider that it is supported at A and it is loaded at the B, right? So due to the load, bending will be there, right? Due to the load, bending will be there in such a way that the filaments of the outer side of the beam are elongated and undergo tension, while the filaments inner side are compressed. Okay, remember this is very important, that when the load is applied on the beam is bent in such a way, right, that the outer filaments are elongated, the outer filaments undergo tension, and the inner filaments are compressed. Okay, the inner filaments are compressed. So we can say that the length of the filaments on the outer side is increased while the length of the filaments on the inner side is decreased. Okay, so in between these two portions there is a layer on which the filaments are neither elongated nor compressed, right? There is a surface between these two surfaces, okay, like between these two portions where the filaments are neither elongated nor compressed, right, even after the load is being applied. Such a surface is called neutral surface or neutral axis. Okay, such a surface is called neutral surface or neutral axis. So as you can see in this figure, right, there is a dotted line in the center of the beam that is being passed, right? That dotted line is known as neutral surface. Okay. So what happens if you take a rectangular cross section and you consider that it is made up of a thin layers, and each thin layers are made up of filaments again. Okay, then when this beam is clamped at one end and loaded on the other end, the beam will bend in such a way that the filaments on the outer sides are elongated and the filaments on the inner sides are compressed. Right? We can say that the length of this filaments on the outer side is increased, and the length of this filament on the inner side is decreased. Okay, there is a surface between these two portions on which the filaments are neither elongated nor compressed. This surface is known as neutral surface. Okay, this surface is known as neutral surface. So this is all about bending of beams. Okay.